Hi, welcome to Pivot, how to leverage for maximum profits in economic crisis. I'm Scott Moran. I'll be your host today. If you haven't done so already, download the Pivot Companion Workbook, a small business guide to surviving in crisis. You can get that at mydigicard.host/pivot. Here, let me give you that again. It's mydigicard, that's mydigicard.host, HOST/pivot, PIVOT. You can provide your information, basically just your name and your email, and you'll get the free download for the Pivot roadmap, if you will, on how to survive doing business in a crisis. So I'll give you a moment to download that. Again, that's mydigicard.host/pivot. And I look forward to contributing to the success of your business. Let's get started. Hi, welcome to Pivot. My name's Scott Moran. For the past 20 years, I've been involved in several business endeavors that have survived an economic crisis. I'm going to serve as a guide for you today, empowering you with powerful tips, tools, and strategies, roadmaps to avoid some of the potholes and pitfalls that occur during an economic crisis. Let's get started. First of all, what is a pivot in business? A pivot usually occurs when a company makes a fundamental change to their business after determining, usually through market research, that their product isn't meeting the needs of their intended market. Now, obviously, during a crisis or a natural disaster or any other economic mishap in the marketplace, the external factors are usually determining the cause for the pivot or the need for the company to make a shift. A pivot is tactical. It's the all-important step between failure and giving up. Another type of failure isn't as obvious and often engenders acceptance rather than action, and that's the failure of mediocrity. Mediocrity requires no change at all. You simply sit back and wait for everything to collapse because you failed to make any changes or strategic pivots. We've all probably heard of successful pivots, often without even realizing that the pivot is the reason the companies survive and why we've heard of them and their name brand companies today. A San Francisco area record store that sold Levi's made a tactical pivot and became Gap. A company making security software for handheld devices made a tactical pivot and became PayPal. A distributor of European bicycle parts made a tactical pivot and became Specialized Bicycles. A London record store made a tactical pivot and became Virgin. A company that originally used chewing gum as an incentive for customers to buy their baking powder made a tactical pivot and became Wrigley. A video dating site made a tactical pivot and became YouTube. A tactical pivot is all about creating a mindset for recognizing business opportunities that your company can be uniquely positioned to address. A small online bookstore recognized an opportunity to make a tactical pivot and became Amazon, the world's largest retailer today. The current COVID-19 pandemic is forcing companies to adapt or die. The best way to manage a crisis is to stay ahead of it. You need to keep your crisis management systems healthy and prepared to act quickly when required, even when you do not foresee a crisis showing up in the near future. Here are 10 questions you can ask yourself to help you evaluate the vigor and fitness of your current crisis management systems and help you create a pivot mindset. How can you protect your sales process, prospecting system, sales funnels, and the safety of your product or service and other assets in the event of a crisis? How can you protect and ensure sustainable financing and stable cash reserves? The last thing you want to do is run out of money during a crisis. What can you do to create well-coordinated, standardized communication systems and protocols to ensure clear and transparent communication with all stakeholders, your current customers, and vendors? What do you have in place as a crisis management plan to manage short-term liquidity and initiate appropriate countermeasures? What measures do you have in place to assess potential risks and define responses in the event of a crisis? What impact will a crisis have in your budgeting and business planning processes? And what can you do to implement early warning mechanisms? When a crisis has significant financial impact, how can you adapt your business model to reduce costs, both in the short and medium term? How will a disruption in demand for your product or service impact you, and how will you recover from its aftermath? What supply chain and production risks have you identified that a crisis might impact, and what can you do to mitigate those risks? Is your business model resilient enough to recover from the impact of a crisis and manage any potential crisis in the future? Here are 8 tactical pivot points. Number 1, a customer problem pivot, using the same product or service to solve a different problem for the same customer segment. Number 2, a market segment pivot, using the same product or service to solve a similar problem for a different customer segment. Technology pivot, repurposing technology to solve a more urgent or marketable problem for customers. Number 4, the product feature pivot, adapting products to the real needs of customers based on their actual usage or feedback. Number 5, the revenue model pivot, finding a different way to generate revenue from your product, such as moving from an initial purchase to a subscription-based model. Sales channel pivot, finding a more attractive route to market, such as a dine-in restaurant converting their entire operation to home delivery. That's happening a lot right now. How about the product versus service pivot? A move to wrap a product with revenue-generating services. Number 8, a competitor pivot, capitalizing on your competitors' offers or products' weakest points. It takes a certain amount of humility and self-awareness to recognize the need to pivot. It takes a fair bit of street savvy to do it well. Just like deciding an initial strategy when launching your business, a tactical pivot should be based on real-time data, experience, observation, and insight. However, sometimes the data you get during a crisis is often rigid, it's slow, it may not always be accurate during the time of crisis. You need to be able to respond quickly and keep adapting and responding to your current climate and the market during the crisis, which can be rapidly changing day to day, sometimes even hour by hour during a crisis. Here are 8 strategies to keep in mind when considering tactical pivots in your business. Be problem focused rather than product focused. Stay in touch with the evolving needs of your target customer. Product focused companies act on a here's what we have to sell mentality. Problem focused businesses act with a here's what we have to solve mentality. Number 2, think broadly about the current and potential value you can bring to customer relationships. Consider product, technology, process, and service as currently offered and adjacencies that your customers may need. What problems or pain points are they facing that you aren't addressing? How can you reimagine your current offering and or add to your current offering in order to bring greater value to your customer? How can you do that in a way that customers are willing to pay for? Number 3, understand the competitive situation that you're entering. How are those problems being solved now? What makes your approach unique? Why will your customers choose your solution over your competitors? Number 4, define your vision for success and what it will take to get there. Be as specific as possible on both. Clarity improves execution. Test your way in if possible. Can it be a trial run? The fail fast, fail cheap often translates into a sharper product or service offering and clearer path to near-term success. Number 6, prioritize. Be specific about your plan, success requirements, and expectations. Then prioritize the work. What will be different broadly across your business, operationally, by group, and specifically for each person connected to your business? Number 7, align your resources behind your new plan. Prioritization is empty without aligning resources behind your new plan. One easy check: if your new plan involves a shift in direction, but no change in work, as in we're going to keep doing everything we're doing and also add this new thing, then you're probably not really prioritizing properly. And number 8, communicate always across all channels and always, frequently. Share why you're shifting direction, what needs to change, and how it affects individuals and groups across your entire business. Stay in touch and confirm understanding. Even more important, make sure to continually remove obstacles to the new direction you're going. There's a time for staying the course and a time to shift. These tactical pivots can help ensure you're on top of the crisis rather than getting crushed by it. How can you pivot your business? I've developed an acronym that will help you here. If you haven't done so already, download the workbook. The link is included here in the chat. You want to make sure that you're taking notes and that you go back and review your notes often, especially to prepare for an upcoming crisis. Here's an acronym that can help you. Proximity. I'm going to show you in the following slides how to get closer from being further away, such as in the case right now during our current COVID-19 pandemic. Intangible. You can't touch this. I'm going to show you how to focus on some intangible things that you can be doing in your business. Right now, you can't touch people. You have to be 6 feet away. So there are some things that I can show you how to capitalize on some intangibles. Visibility. How to be seen everywhere. Since we can't be close to people, there's some strategies you should be implementing to be seen everywhere by your prospects and your target demographic. Obstacles. I'm going to show you how to go from obstacles to opportunity. Time. There's a sense of urgency that you need to employ in your business right now, today, versus tomorrow. Things are going to be different tomorrow. Things today need to be taken care of in a different way than they were yesterday and in a different way than they will be tomorrow. Dig deep, then dig deeper. In business, the relationships you build with your customers, your business partners, and your community is much like dating or a marriage. What you start with is something you can make even stronger with time as long as you work on it. It's an ongoing process. As Zig Ziglar wisely observed, you will get all you want in life if you help enough other people get what they want. Growth only happens when you dig deep and ask fundamental questions about the needs of your customers ahead of your own, while expanding your internal customer network to include all buyers, influencers, and users of your product. Doing this communicates 3 powerful ideas to which all people respond positively. And that is the ideas of being seen, understood, and valued. Let's get started. Here are some questions to help you understand proximity. Where is your target demographic today? And I don't mean they're at home. That's not the answer we're looking for. What we're looking for is, where are they at mentally? What is their mindset? If you sell insurance, they're at home, but mentally they have a sense of a need to feel safe. So where is your target demographic today mentally? Where are they filling their needs for your product today? How are they getting what they used to get from you? How are they getting it done now? People still need things. They still need peace of mind. They still need insurance. The person who's selling them the insurance is not focused on selling insurance. They're focused on how they can offer your target demographic and theirs peace of mind. Where is your competition meeting the needs of your target demographic today? How are they doing it? Where are they at? Where are you able to service your products? Where are you able to service your prospects and clients today? Where are you able to get to them? You may not be able to do the things that you did before. They're not coming to you, to your storefront or to your office. So where are you able to service your prospects and clients today? Where can you position yourself to be in front of them today? Where can you pivot to meet their changing needs today? Where can you deliver more than your competitors today? Now, there's a lot coming at you in this seminar that I'm doing today for you. There's a lot of questions in the workbook that'll help you get focused. But what I want you to do in each of these areas is I want you to go through the questions and do your best. Be as detailed as possible. But I want you to focus. The takeaway I want you to get from here is, what is one thing you can do in each of these areas? Just focus on the one thing and then begin to evolve your business as we go along. What is one thing you can do to be more seen today? Let's talk about intangible. What is an intangible? An intangible is an asset that is not physical in nature. Goodwill, brand recognition, and intellectual property such as patents, trademarks, copyrights, licensing agreements, all are intangible assets. What is goodwill? Let's talk about goodwill for a moment. Goodwill is a powerful intangible. We see a lot of it going on today, right now, during this pandemic. Goodwill is something that is measured in how well you connect and engage with your local community. Strong community relations start with creating and communicating your public persona, your business personality, if you will, with your surrounding community. Many people know me in my local community as the only guy in the room with a cowboy hat. And there are some things that I do in my local community to engender goodwill. What are you doing to engender goodwill? That is an intangible that will help you connect with your community in a powerful way, like we've seen during this current pandemic with businesses retooling themselves to supply surgical masks, to supply hand sanitizer, to do things that are directly connecting them to their community. Restaurants who are on the front line feeding the first responders. That's goodwill. What can you be doing to focus and create better goodwill for your business? Here are some questions to help you develop your intangible assets. What are your existing intangible assets today? What can you do to develop additional intangible assets today? What are some ways you can begin communicating your intangible assets to your target demographic today? I'm noticing during this crisis that breweries are doing some things, providing food and retooling their equipment, their technology to make hand sanitizers. There are some powerful connections with their intangible goodwill so that people will remember them coming out of this crisis and maybe frequent their establishments or buy their beer that are made in the local brewery from the same place that made their hand sanitizer. What is one thing you can do today to develop your goodwill in the community? Maybe you don't own a local brewery. Maybe you can't retool your technology to supply needed surgical masks or supplies to the first responders. But there is something you can do. Focus on one thing you can do today to develop your goodwill in the community. You might notice today is a theme throughout here. Today is more powerful than tomorrow. The things that you're doing to connect today are more impactful than they will be tomorrow. These are the things you need to be thinking about today to stay in business today and tomorrow. Let's talk about visibility. Questions to help you become more visible. Where is your target demographic looking for you today? Where do you want your target demographic to be when they see you today? Where are your competitors being seen by your target demographic today? What can you do to be seen in other places than your competitors by your target demographic today? What is one thing you can do to be seen by your target demographic today? Obstacles. Here are some questions to help you overcome some obstacles. What obstacles does the current crisis create for you today? What obstacles are your target demographic experiencing in receiving the benefits of your product or service today? What are some things your competitors are doing to overcome these obstacles today? What is one thing you can do to overcome one obstacle today?
Hey, you want burgers, fries, and now beers, and you want two gorgeous women to come deliver it for you wearing booty shorts and pasties? We're bringing the party to you because you can't bring the party to us. My name is Sean Bolden. I'm the owner of Lucky Devil Lounge, and now I'm the new owner of Uber Eats PDX. We're now a food delivery service that provides customers with food with a side of boobs. Try not to laugh, I know. So this originally started as kind of a joke. We had to shut down Monday. I said, well, we're going to try to keep the kitchen open. I just, joking around, said, we're going to deliver dancers to your door topless, and we're going to call it Uber. The feedback just started going crazy. People were like asking if we could send their favorite dancers, if we deliver to Vancouver, Salem, Gresham, Hillsborough, and I just kind of asked everybody, hey, you guys want to try to do this? And everybody was like, yes. I'm trying to employ everybody that works here. So all of our security guards are now drivers, all of our dancers, they're delivering the food to your doorstep. Our cooks are working, our bartenders are answering phones, and they're helping out with social media.
If the club was to close, I would not probably qualify for any type of unemployment. It became very real when this happened that we are independent contractors and dancers work for tips and tips only.
For the majority of us, it's been an almost complete loss of income. This is the job. Losing this job is devastating to most of us.
We're keeping our prices the same. The only thing we're charging for is a $30 service fee for the two girls. And we're splitting that up between the two dancers and the security. Everybody's making just over minimum wage.
These girls got ready and we came out for you. We are as ready as we get, just like if we were coming into the club. So yeah, you should tip your boobers. We're trying really hard.
Club regulars, and then there's also girls regulars calling as well and being like, I want this girl to deliver. We do that. And another dancer from another club just called, just supporting other dancers.
Portland's a very community-driven area also.
Yeah, and just there's a huge family love. It's definitely been really amazing to just do this with the people we love too, getting to see people during this. And it keeps us moving. Yes. And something to do.
So here we have a business that completely refocused their business model. Notwithstanding your opinion of strip clubs or adult entertainment, the purpose of, I included this video because I wanted you to see that asking specific questions, what can you do differently? It's interesting if you listen to the owner in the video, it started as a joke. It's comical. You need to open your mind if you want to survive in business. It may not make sense to someone else. It may be laughable. It may start out as a joke, but this guy is able to stay in business, keep his employees in business, and not only survive, but he's starting to thrive. Feedback is coming in, he said, and his delivery area is expanding. What started out as a joke became a complete pivot, a complete different focus in his business model. It doesn't make sense anywhere else. It's probably illegal in some places, but in his market, in Portland, Oregon, in where he's at, people can't come to him. His target demographic no longer comes into his door. He made an immediate pivot, shifted, and started finding something that did work. Now he's serving food as a delivery-only business, using adult entertainers to deliver, and he calls it Boober. It's a comical, funny, whimsical business that is now thriving, not just surviving. What are some things that you can do differently? What doesn't make sense to anybody else but could make sense to you to apply some of these questions to completely pivot your business model so that you can stay in business? Time, urgency, today versus tomorrow. Here's some questions to help you identify and create urgency. What are the expectations of your prospect or client in receiving your product or service today? What are some things your competitors are doing to meet the needs of your target demographic today? What can you do to meet these same expectations today? What is one thing you can do now to create urgency with your target demographic today? Here are 3 pivot points during a crisis that I want you to focus on. Yes, we all sell products and services. That's what keeps us in business. But during a crisis, you absolutely must pivot from a product focus to a people-centric or people focus. So yes, you have products, but you now more than ever need to focus on the people and what they need, whether it's your product or service or not. You must pivot right now to focus on what people need and begin shifting your attention to the people who need something, whether that's your product or service or not. If it's not your immediate product or service, you may have to pivot and shift to something else. Just like the business owner in the adult entertainment strip club had to shift to the restaurant side, to the food offerings, which was probably a very small part of his business, and now it's full-time 100% of his business, because that's what people need. Something he has that people need, they need to eat. They don't necessarily need to go to an adult entertainment establishment. Revenue. You need to pivot from a revenue-driven model to a relationship-driven model. Yes, we need to make revenue, but we need to focus on the relationship that drives that revenue. I do a lot of training. I charge for a lot of my training, but I do a lot of training for free. I do several hours of training for free because I want to focus on developing the right relationship so that when my prospect decides to use me and it creates a revenue opportunity, that client already knows that the value of that relationship is more important than what revenue I may derive from the relationship. So a different focus on just revenue is to focus on creating better relationships so that when we come out of this crisis, or even during the crisis, people are willing to pay for an increase of attention, much more attention to solving their problems because you focus so much on the relationship during the crisis. I want you to focus on not just the profits, but pivot and focus on passion. What is it that got you in business in the first place? We can spend money with anyone we want to. It's interesting, I get presented to often by salespeople who are just doing their job until something better comes along. They are not really committed to what they're selling. Why would I want to spend my money with someone who has no passion for what they're selling? I gravitate towards people who are passionate about their product and service. They're passionate about helping me solve a problem. Those are the people who will teach me more in-depth ways of solving my problem because they're passionate about the problem that I face. They're passionate about the relationship that they've created with me because they're more people-centric and focus on helping people instead of just pushing a product to create revenue to make a profit. Here's some questions to help you become more people-centric. What do you offer? Insurance, real estate, roofing, maybe you're a local coffee shop. That's not what I want you to focus on in filling in your answer. If you're an insurance agent, you don't offer insurance, especially during a crisis. You offer peace of mind. Don't focus on the product, but focus on what the product does for the people that you're serving, for the people that you're attempting to create a relationship with. You're not selling real estate. You're helping someone invest their money instead of throwing it away in a rental. You're helping them make better choices with how they spend that money so that they create a sense of accomplishment, a sense of pride in home ownership. You're not selling a roof. You're protecting someone's investment. You're helping someone feel safe and secure during a storm. So that's kind of what I want you to focus on. There's a local coffee shop, The Perfect Latte. She is not a coffee shop. Yes, she is. She has a physical location in a building that serves as a functional coffee shop. But if you ask her, she'll never say that she's focused on providing an atmosphere to come and have a cup of coffee. She's focused on creating a sense of community, and it's reflective when you go into her business that it's not like any other coffee shop that you've been in. It's a reflection on her passion surrounding her involvement in the community and her passion for becoming more people-centric. Who is your target demographic today? How do you describe who your target demographic is today? What does your target demographic need today? Again, these questions are designed to help you focus on the people that are being impacted by this current crisis and how you may be able to help them. How can your offer meet the needs of people today during this crisis? How can you pivot what you offer to help even more people today? How can you offer any additional products or services to people today? What is one thing you can use to help people today?
Some of the troops helping fight COVID-19 across the Gulf Coast got just what they needed this morning, lots of hand sanitizer and masks. The East End Chamber of Commerce signed up some local businesses to support our troops through a partnership with the USO. Gulf Coast Distillery switched from making liquor to producing hand sanitizer, while Texas mattress makers shifted from making mattresses instead now to masks.
As a veteran, I always like to do anything I can possibly do to the military. And I look at these young folks, it makes me feel like I'm young again.
And we appreciate it. The company's donated supplies for roughly 2,000 troops in Louisiana and Southeast Texas.
So here's another local company doing something, retooling their technology, focusing on people instead of the product. Do you think they're going to be remembered long after the crisis is gone because of their involvement in the community, their goodwill, as we talked about earlier? Relationship building isn't about trying to change someone's personality, who they are, or how they govern themselves. Rather, you're influencing the dynamic of how you connect with someone as well as their buying choices. Empathy is the key ingredient here. Knowing the buyer's operation better than the buyer themselves is the best way to cement a deep relationship with someone because they see you are interested in more than just pushing your product. Here are some questions to help you pivot and focus more on relationships. Where are your prospects and clients today? What are your prospects, clients doing today? What are they interested in today? What can you be doing to encourage or help them today? How can you position yourself in front of them today? How can you pivot what you offer to help them even more today? And can you offer any additional products or services to them today? And what is one thing you can discount to people today? Revenue is important, but the relationship is more important. I want you to focus on the difference between revenue and profit. And I've included a link when we're finished with these slides. I've included several links to articles I've written on Facebook. If you haven't friended me on Facebook, please do so. You get access to all of my notes, and I have 5 or 6 notes that are relevant to today's pivot workshop. And one of those is the difference between revenue and profit. Revenue is something we need to make right now. There are many companies that are producing something that are charging less than what they would make a profit on. And that's done so that they can service a need, try to make enough money to keep gas in the tank or keep the lights on if possible, but it's going to affect the profitability. That's okay right now. We need to make a little bit of something because it's better than nothing for as long as we can so that we can stay operational. We can focus on the bottom line and staying profitability later when we come out of the crisis. But our job right now is to stay on top of helping people recognize that we are in it to help them and focus on the relationship rather than creating enough revenue to make a profit. So what is one thing you can discount to help people today so that you, again, stay operational and they see you as servicing them and doing something and contributing to the mindset of coming out of this crisis?
During difficult times, it's easy to put on blinders and only concentrate on ourselves. So now a local construction company is teaming up with 2 local restaurants to provide meals to families so they don't go hungry when they need it most. Restaurants like Boss Cat Kitchen and Libations are doing what they can to adjust to social distancing. They have switched to takeout orders, but the change hasn't stopped them from helping others.
And we're going to do everything we can over the next several weeks to pay it forward, help other people, but also try to keep our doors open and keep our employees safe.
Boss Cat has teamed up with Construction Concepts, a restaurant construction company, to make sure those who need it the most don't go hungry.
There are also others in need, like children with cancer and their families. They've been faced with larger challenges than we can even imagine.
It's our responsibility right now to take care of them. How can we do that in the restaurant business? Simple. It's create meals that are singly packaged to provide them.
For every meal bought, Boss Cat will donate a meal to Big Love, a nonprofit providing personalized care to children fighting cancer and their families. The organization says this is a blessing for families who have to quarantine in the hospital.
It takes away some of that fear and concern that the caregiver, whether it be the parent or the grandparent, might get infected and then bring that into the hospital.
They don't feel as alone knowing there's businesses out there thinking of them.
Just knowing that the community is playing a part and just helping us not feel so alone during these uncertain times means a lot to us.
Construction Concepts and Boss Cat say no matter how many meals are bought, they promise to donate 500 meals in the next 3 weeks. They now challenge other restaurants to find creative ways to help others. Back to you.
So again, another local business, a restaurant. Actually, it's the construction company that built the restaurants. They tapped into their target demographic, their customers, and they offered a way for them to cook meals and partnered with the cancer organization to help prepare meals. There's a lot going on in that video about creating goodwill, focusing on developing and increasing their public relationships over making a profit or creating revenue right now. Very powerful video. I encourage you to go back and watch it again and look at all the nuances that are mentioned there that we're relaying to you here in this video. Here are some questions to help you pivot and focus more on your passion. What excites you about your business today? We all got into business, many of us got into business because we were excited about some aspect of what we're doing. I got into this part of my business because I'm excited and passionate about seeing a business succeed in an area where they would be challenged. Most businesses that I encounter are passionate about what they do. Whether it be a roofing company or a restaurant because someone's a great chef, but they are not necessarily business minded. And I don't mean that in a negative way. Someone can be a great chef, but a lousy business manager or a lousy boss because they don't know the nuances. They don't know what needs to be done to create a target. They don't know how to identify their target demographic or create a need in the marketplace for their service. They just cook good food and hope people rely on word of mouth, and they rely on word of mouth and hope people will talk about their business. What excites me is I'm able to educate that business owner and watch them get more excited about their business because now they have more people that they can cook for and they see the operational side of their business in a different way. That's what excites me about my business. What excites you about your product or service? Maybe you're product focused because you're excited because maybe you invented something, or maybe you have some unique insight because a product or service has impacted you in a unique way. I know a lot of people that are involved in the health and fitness and nutrition industry because that particular product or service has impacted them so much. They went from having cancer and being bedridden to now they're entering bodybuilding and fitness contests, and their product or service was able to get them to that point in life. And so they're very excited and passionate about their product or service. So what excites you about your business? What excites you about your product or service today? What excites you about being able to help other people today? What are you passionate about today? Maybe it's not any of those. What's one thing that you're passionate about? Maybe you're passionate about frisbee, or what they call disc throwing. I know people that made a business out of being passionate about something. Where are others who share your passion at today? Where are they at today? Maybe you can get together with people who share your same passion. There are a lot of online meeting groups right now. I know people who are starting businesses that are completely scrapping their old business model because they went under during this current pandemic. In less than 4 weeks, in less than a month, their business has tanked. And now they're starting a new business that revolves around their passion, where they have created a new business just by hanging around people who are passionate about the same thing they are. And because they're entrepreneurs, they're finding a way to service those people who are passionate about the same thing that they are. What are the needs of these people who share your passion today? What can you offer that indulges their passion even more today? These are answering these questions can discover hidden opportunities for entrepreneurial-minded people to launch a new business during a crisis like we're experiencing today. What is one thing you can do to get passionate about helping people today?
Our kids' education fall by the wayside, and we cannot forget about our own well-being either. Ana Yeli Ruiz shows us how to make sure wellness is a priority during this scary time.
Feeling a little lazy lately? Have you stopped doing your workouts and have opted for that new series instead? How do you get back on that healthy bandwagon?
I'm only accustomed to getting up at 4:30 in the morning and getting to the gym by 5. Well, that shouldn't change now. And you just have to be a little bit more of your own disciplinarian.
Nike Master Trainer Emily Hutchins works with professional athletes and people like me and you. She says you need to maintain that routine you've always had.
Again,
and no need for a gym. You can do it all from your living room.
I have people lying on their back doing chest press with dog food bags. So it's using detergent bottles to do back rows. It's just being more resourceful for what you have access to. But at the same time, you don't necessarily need anything because you can accomplish a ton of high quality work with just your own body weight.
Mental health expert Bill Prasad says it's also easier when you have a buddy to work out with.
Make sure someone holds us accountable. What if you have a Zoom appointment at 8 a.m. or 9 a.m.? What if you are virtually working out with someone at 8:30 a.m.?
And for those busy parents who have to juggle the kids, the house, and work, taking turns is the best way to get the workout done.
Tag teaming with their husbands. The husband, he does a workout one morning while the wife is managing the kids, and then they're flipping on and off. It's a team effort that way.
Remember, the best tip is to keep moving. Lots of trainers are offering free workouts online every day. Ana Yeli Ruiz, KHOU 11 News.
So again, businesses are forced to get creative, doing online coaching sessions, doing things. People can't come into the gym anymore. Here's some fitness trainers doing things, doing online Zoom appointments, holding their clients accountable, doing it in a different way. What are some things that you can be doing differently? So, a lot of information covered today. I hope you downloaded the workbook and that you go back. We obviously didn't spend a lot of time answering each of the individual questions. I wanted to throw them out there for you. I wanted you to get the workbook. I really wanted to empower you to look at your business differently. What are you doing now? What can you be doing differently? How can you begin to not just survive, but what can you be doing to start thriving during this economic crisis? I know that that's a pie in the sky, big, huge expectation to find a way to thrive. But there are businesses that are doing it. There are businesses that are finding opportunities during this pandemic to not only survive, but thrive and increase. But it takes a pivot mindset. It takes every day, day by day, getting online, looking at what's going on in other communities. I'm involved in multiple networking opportunities online, looking and staying informed of what other businesses are doing to create additional opportunities. If your business is failing right now, if you are struggling, it really isn't because you lack business acumen. You're lacking resources. Or actually, let me get that a different way. If your business is failing, it's because you're not aware of the resources. There are tremendous resources available to help you stay afloat. If you need additional help coaching, one-on-one sessions, I'm available. If you want to take this apart and forensically dissect your business, I'm available. Reach out to me. I have a lot of resources that I offer my prospects for free. Of course, when you become a client, you have much greater access to me so that I can dig down deep and see what we need to do to keep your business thriving. I've included multiple resources. Here are 5 articles that I encourage you to read. They're on my Facebook notes. The best way to reach, to get access to those is just friend me on Facebook. It's facebook.com/Scott Moran, and my name is spelled with 1 T. So again, that's facebook.com/Scott Moran, and you can click on my notes there and see these. I have probably about 40 notes published there that have to do with networking and business. But these 5 notes here specifically have to do with helping you pivot and begin to create a pivot mindset so that your business can come out of this thriving and not just surviving. Here are the 4 videos. They're on YouTube, the videos that we saw there. You can again play this meeting back and you can see the videos there. I will upload the presentation to YouTube, but if all else fails, you can directly link to these videos on YouTube. Thank you for joining me today. I hope I gave you something that you can take with you today that focuses on how your business can make the necessary pivots to stay afloat during this crisis. I hope I provided you with some roadmaps to avoid some of the potholes. If I can be of further assistance to you, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. My direct phone number is 682-313-6163. Write that down in your notes there. Once again, my direct phone number is 682-313-6163. It's at the bottom of every note that you'll find there. It's included in the links accompanying this presentation, and it's in the additional supplemental materials. Let me know how I'm able to help you. I look forward to seeing your business thriving, and I look forward to contributing to the success of your business.